I, I, what's up, everybody? Guess what? We got affiliate. Alright, so today, this is going to be a 12-hour stream. Oh. And to celebrate getting the affiliate. It's pretty hype. It's pretty hype. Oh, so excited. So, yeah, the starting lineup is going to be basically just Higurashi, and then we're going to be going on with some Rocket League. We're just going to be doing like this chapter of Higurashi. Then we're going to do a little bit like a little while of Rocket League, and then from there we can uh, go on some more hardcore Minecraft and stuff. So hell yeah, hell yeah! I'm excited. I'm excited. 12-hour long. Let's go. The only thing I'm worried about is what I'm gonna do when I get hungry. I got Pepsi for days inside the house. So yeah, let me clean my glasses real fast. But let's see, did the bot notify people that we're good to go? That we're good to go. Bada pink, bada boom. Why is it on the 23rd? So is it working now? Yeah, because I didn't stream yesterday, so hopefully it goes off today. Alrighty, alrighty. Okay, let's go, everybody. So well, I think where we left off was like in the middle of the chapter, and we're gonna finish it off today. And then, but I think what was happening, honestly, can't remember. I mean, I know stuff that was getting me pissed off was going down. It's just more. Oh yeah. So Satoko's uncle had come back, and she was kind of trapped with him at the house and all that shit. And yeah, not good things going down. And yeah, and then like all like the friends and stuff were like wondering what the fuck we can do to like help her and save her and shit like that. But it's like, man, it's oh, got me getting pissed. So yeah. Alright, let us continue then. Let's hop back into it. Start it off. Alright. I walked forward quite a ways, then turned right where the rice fields ended. I'd never come here before, so I had no idea where to go. I'd got lost several times, so I may have taken quite a long way around. Maybe I should have gone back home and got my bike first. I would have. Or it would have made everyone else worry if I'd asked them. So I asked one of our other classmates where Satoko's actual house was. That house was originally her family's, apparently, not their uncle and his wife's. Their house had been bigger, so they had taken it for themselves. Yeah. And right here, several houses all in a line. Over there? I was visiting Satoko's house, but didn't particularly intend to meet her there. I didn't mean to spy on the enemy, her mean uncle either. Maybe I just wanted to be a little closer to her, as her Nini. Pretty words, but I didn't know if they were true. What if Tomita-kun and the others had told me, or what if what Tomita-kun and the others told me was right? It'd be this house? When I recognized it, my feet grew heavy. What did I come here for? My motive for coming here was absurd. When Mion had said at the end that we were powerless, it made me sort of frustrated. I just wanted to do something. Anything other than waste a day away, like just praying for a miracle. That's what made me come here. But that was all. Even if I were to witness her uncle actually tormenting Satoko, what could I do? Would I act like a comic book hero, punch the guy in the face and take Satoko away with me? And then live together somewhere far away? That was ridiculous. I'm powerless. The cicadas' voices rang in a raised and chorus, sounded like they were scoffing at me. As though they were saying that if I couldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything, then I should go back home. I heard a car approaching, so I got out of its way. But the car stopped right behind me, its horn honking shortly once. Annoyed, hadn't I gotten out of their way? I looked behind me, and a familiar face was looking at me out of the driver's seat window. Coach. Hello, Mayabata-san. How unexpected to meet you all the way out here. Do you live nearby? Me being here wasn't normal. Just as I considered somehow giving him the slip, I noticed Satoko sitting in the passenger seat. Satoko? Satoko got out of the car and began unloading a lot of groceries from the trunk. I happened to run into the coach on my way back from shopping. He said he'd bring me home, so I accepted his offer. She wouldn't have been able to carry all those groceries on her bike. As Coach spoke, he pulled Satoko's bike out from the back seat, where they had put it. The grocery bags were big, and there were 4 of them. They all seemed to be packed full and very heavy. Those bags. 7 smart? Hey, isn't that a little far to go by bicycle? I looked at the bags and saw that they were filled to the brim with sake bottles, snacks that you'd eat with sake, and boxes of cigarettes. Their weight was one thing, but their contents were nothing less than luxury items. I made it thanks to Coach. He helped me out. It was a little difficult going up those hills. Satoko gave Coach a smile filled with gratitude, but it was incredibly awkward and even heartening. Satoko, these groceries aren't for dinner tonight, are they? Of course not. I do not drink sake, and I hate snacks. Of course I don't smoke either. He made Satoko go to a distant store by herself on bike, so she could buy dumb shit like this? And what was the uncle doing right now anyway? He must have been working up a good sweat at this very moment if he needed to send Satoko out by herself, right? If not, then how much had Satoko suffered for no fucking reason? I hadn't intended to voice my feelings, but they may have made it into my face. Coach might have noticed, because he clapped me on the shoulder. Just then, one of the house windows clattered open, and the face of a vulgar man, the very sight of which made me immediately avert my eyes, emerged from within it. There were no self-introductions necessary. My gut told me that this was the uncle in question. The first thing out of his mouth should have been words of gratitude for Satoko. Satoko! You left the heat for the sake on when you left, you half-wit! I'm sorry, but you told me to go right away. You idiot! All that brewing and I did for nothing! A fucking idiot! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Satoko miserably apologized over and over, bowing again and again. She could have been perfectly described as a small animal. I had no idea what was happening. Satoko finished shopping for all this heavy stuff that wasn't even for dinner. She only managed to come back because she ran into Coach and he drove her home. If she hadn't been found by him, she'd surely still be by herself, panting and moaning, pedaling her bicycle up that steep hill. What was with those words? Those horrible, sleazy words that he had said to Satoko? In what country's dictionary did it tell him to say such things to a young girl who had just finished shopping? Oh, fucking anger, of course, wouldn't reach him. The uncle displayed no interest in me, instead shouting at Coach. Oh. If it isn't Dr. Irie. Hello, hello. Why don't you come in and come on inside too? We're in the last round, so you can get right in the way. 100 yen per 1,000 points, and anything goes. No. I'll pass, thank you. I just ran into Satoko-chan and gave her a lift is all. I'll be leaving you now. Oh, nah, come on, play around. We got a lot of money, eh? I didn't even understand what her uncle and Coach were talking about. But I knew one thing for sure. None of what he'd just said had been to thank Satoko in any way. Satoko, could you bring those damn snacks already? And start getting those beers chilled too. Go get us some cold ones from the fridge. Tak-chan, you're so hard on her. She looks so sad. You should take care of her. This is how I gotta treat her. She's been like this since she was with my bro. Spoil her and she ain't gonna listen to a damn thing you say. Shit. Whatever. It's your draw, Tak-chan. Tsubaki-san, declared Richi too. Sorry. What? You and Richi again? Tsubaki. It looked like it wasn't just her uncle. Some of his friends were over too. Hey, wait. What was he... No, what were they doing? Flinging rude words left and right, making Satoko go shopping for your beer? What were they doing? My uncle's friends came from town, and they're playing mahjong. He told me to prepare dinner for them as well. What the hell? Mahjong? Mahjong? How the fuck you say it? He called his friends over for mahjong? Mahjong? They were too busy playing, so they sent Satoko to buy them a crapload of booze from a faraway store. And the first thing he said to her was how she left the gas on? What the hell? What the fuck? What does that guy think he's fucking doing? Who could get lost in some dumb game of mahjong and send Satoko to buy all this shit? Even though Coach was listening, he pretended he wasn't. There was a line of heavy-looking shopping bags lined up on the ground next to the trunk. Bado-san, you help too, please. You're a boy. You get to carrying this heavy one. Coach, you're gonna let this slide? This is completely... Coach pretended he hadn't heard that violent outburst either. I thought about it later. His reaction might have been the best thing he could do in that situation. I'll carry 2 of them myself. Come on. Help us carry them, please. The bags were packed to the brim with bottles of sake and and bar snacks. They were so heavy. And so filthy. So unfair. They weren't just heavy in terms of weight. They made me feel mortified. Nothing could have been heavier than that. Okay, Ichi-san, there's no need to push yourself. I'll carry it. Satoko mistook my biting back the humiliation as grimacing under the weight, and offered to help. Stupid. Don't underestimate me. Satoko had never looked down on my physical strength in the slightest. Ugh. Ugh. Coach, I'm sorry for you too. It must be heavy. No, not at all, answered Coach, smiling vaguely, coolly. But I, and I alone, knew. Coach was an adult, so he just knew how to keep his feelings from showing. There was even more anger than I was feeling, burning deep in his eyes. Well, it is heavy. Ugh. Shit. Shit! It wasn't very far to the doorstep of Satoko's house, but the bag squeezed my palms and started leaving red marks. Ugh. Fury welled up inside me, and the back of my throat stung. But even if all came gushing out, it wouldn't solve anything. So, just tightly gritting my teeth was as much as I could do. Really, thank you so much. Both of you. You really helped me here. After we carried them back to the back door, Satoko said that was enough. Occasionally we'd hear the repulsive laughing of her uncle and her friends from within. Her uncle and his friends from within, and my insides would seethe. I knew they weren't ridiculing us, and that was why it made me so mad. They made Satoko shop for all this heavy, selfish stuff, then ignored her and laughed amongst themselves as they pleased. It was deeply aggravating. Of course, Coach had to have felt the same way. But if he accidentally left his feelings slip onto his face, he'd only cause Satoko more worry. He knew all that, and spoke coolly, as if to say he didn't care. Not at all. I'm happy I could be a bit of help for you. If there's anything else I can help with, please tell me. Yes. I really am happy that you feel that way. That he feels that way. Those words were sad. Satoko herself was sad and resigned that we could only help her so much. But she was right. No matter how much Coach or I wanted to help Satoko, this was as much as we could do. I felt absolutely ashamed at not having the power to help her any more than this. Burning, boiling emotions bubbling up within me and rising into my throat, trembling all over. I almost started to cry from my fury. Me too. If there's anything I can do to help, I'll help you whenever you need. So, hang in there. I wanted to at least give her those trite words, saying that I'd help her whenever she wanted. Yes, thank you very much. I'm happy that you came all the way here, when you didn't need to. Satoko seemed to have guessed what I was doing in a place like this, when my house was in the opposite direction from school. Alright, you should get going. They're drunk right now, so there's no telling what they'll get mad at you for. Was that her that said that? No, I think it was probably Coach. Oh well. She felt guilty getting us involved after we'd helped her. Oh, it was her. Because she wanted to be the only one to suffer this misfortune. That's how it looked, and it hurt. I handed my supermarket bag over to Satoko. And then, I noticed on the back of Satoko's hand, There was something that looked like a bruise. Hey, Satoko? What the heck is that bruise? I knew as much as anyone else how transparent that sounded. I didn't mean to hear it from Satoko, to know how this bruise came to be. I just slipped on the stairs and hit it a little. Please pay it no mind. You're lying! Coach nudged me on the back. Then he put his index finger to his mouth, to chide me from being so loud. Really, thank you so much. Until tomorrow. I hope we can see each other at school. That's not what I'm talking about. I asked you about how you got that bruise on your hand. Ugh! The evening glow finally got to a point where I could see the other concealed, oval-shaped bruises and traces of swelling on her neck and her legs and other places too. Okay, breathe. I fell down the stairs. The very moment my violent, rampaging emotions were about to burst their way out from my throat, I found my mouth being tightly clamped down on. Coach was pressing down on my mouth from behind, wrapping around me tightly with his hands. Because of that, I couldn't say anything. I could only groan. Which I did. That was all I could do. I needed to expel all the magma sitting deep within me, because otherwise I'd surely explode into a million pieces that very moment. So I groaned. I groaned. From my mouth. From my whole body. While heat fell in drops from my eyes. I groaned and groaned. I groaned to the point of exhaustion. I wrung absolutely everything out of myself. Even having lost my voice, I was still wrangling about. I understand how you feel. I really do, my Abata-san. Please just endure it for now. Please, I'm asking you, my Abata-san. Endure it for now? And then what? Huh? What would happen to her? To Satoko? Her body and mind were wounded, and she was being made to suffer like this. Can you not even let me howl in vain at it? Is that it, Coach? Are we this fucking powerless? So powerless we can't fucking scream at the bottom of our hearts? The voices of the Higurashi made me calm down. I didn't know how long it had been. Satoko abruptly gave a slight bow. Thank you very much, Keiichi-san. Satoko. You look a lot like my real Nini just now. My real Nini may not be here anymore, but I have another Nini named Keiichi-san. Yeah, you got it. You're Nini. And when you're in pain, I'll help you no matter what. Your Nini will rescue you for sure. Satoshi Hojo, you fucking idiot. If not now, then when? Satoko, she's never been in more pain in her life. If her Nini doesn't save her now, then when will he? Why did you fucking run away? Why did you abandon her? Why did you leave Satoko behind? You don't have any right to call yourself Satoko's Nini. I won't run away. Huh? I definitely won't. run away. I won't run away and abandon you like Satoshi did. No way. I will not abandon you. Slip. Tears trickled down from Satoko's eyes. And then, she narrowed her eyes into a smile. Goodbye, Nini. I hate that word. I personally hate that word. I hate the word goodbye. Oh. I personally hate that word so much. Fuck that word. Fuck that word. Okay. Satoko took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me. Hey, what's up? Doing pretty good. Doing 12-hour stream to celebrate doing a getting affiliate. So starting off with finishing off this chapter for Higurashi and all that. Yeah. How you doing? Oh, thank you. Great, just woke up. Hey, good morning. Well, good way to start the day, I guess, is watch some Higurashi with this shit that's going down. This is your obligatory warning. I forget if you've already known or not, but this section deals with heavy shit. And yeah, it's a struggle for me to play because like it pisses me off so much. So it's like I I had to like cut it off in the middle of this chapter. So it's like the last time I streamed it, it's like starting off the 12-hour. I'm only gonna be able to like finish this chapter off because it just pisses me off so much. And it's like considering the trend of oh, thank you. I as long as y'all are here with me, I can power through. But it's like considering that even the anime kind like the very little that was in the anime pissed me off, and like the trend of like so much more being in like the games and stuff. I am not looking forward to playing through it, but at the same time I am, out of like the morbid curiosity. It's like I'm looking forward to it out of like I want to see what happens and all that shit and see the fucked upness, but at the same time it's like, ooh, I know this is going to be difficult and I'm gonna get like so pissed. It's gotta be a struggle to keep myself calm. Cause this shit gets me pissed. So taking a little breather right now to a little chat, but yep. Okay. If my neck could pop, I'd feel better, but okay. Let's go. Back into it. Goodbye, Nini. Satoko took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me. I'll be alright. My Nini now helped me so much. So I'll be okay. I'll do my best until tomorrow. I'll be okay. So for today, this is goodbye. There was no way that I could just say, bye, see you tomorrow. And then from inside the house came a throaty, disgusting voice. Satoko! Could you bring us the snacks already? Okay, Nini. Get going already. I'll be fine now. Hurry. Let's go, Maibata-san. Staying any longer than this would be a bother to Satoko-chan. Coach, Nini's house is a little far away. I'm sorry to ask you this, but could you take him home? Yes, I'll do that. Coach grabbed me by the collar, and with strength I couldn't have imagined him having, started dragging me away. And I, unable to oppose him, started getting further away from Satoko. Or farther away. Same difference. She waved her hand to us, expression still dark, and disappeared through the back door. Coach got into the car first, then turned around on the narrow path and brought the passenger side door around for me. I know how you feel, so it hurts well. Or, I know how you feel so well, it hurts. No, I think I understand it even more than you. But, right now, just for now, please endure it. She understood exactly how you feel, so please endure it. If you don't, I know already. I'm sorry. Thank you for before. I meekly got into the passenger seat. The car accelerated quietly, and Satoko's house grew further and further away in the rearview mirror. We had made a wide turn, and then I couldn't see her house anymore. Is your house that far away? It's the other direction from school, isn't it? I didn't bother to reply. I would have been hard-pressed to give him an answer as to why I was at Satoko's house. Coach didn't say anything more either. For a while, the two of us were silent. The only sounds were the gravel spraying over the road as we drove. I remember how Rodina said things were different than last year. At the time, she had Satoshi with her. Satoshi protected Satoko, so that less of the sparks fell onto her. But now, Satoshi isn't here. Yes. That's the unfortunate truth. Coach seemed to understand what I really meant when I said that. It's a terribly sad, cruel story, but there's a limit to our resolve, our efforts, and our assistance. It sounded like an excuse, but he was right. Even if Coach and I wanted to be people Satoko could depend on, that was all. It ended at the front door. No matter how much I shouted that I would be her Nini, no matter how much I shouted that I wouldn't abandon her, no matter how much Satoko called me Nini, I couldn't do any more than that. Where on earth could Satoshi have gone? Right. Satoshi was another story. Her actual brother, Satoshi, was in a position to protect her far, far better than we could ever. That was the cold, sad truth of the massive gulf between Satoshi and us. I wonder what he's been doing lately. Satoshi left home. I didn't know why. Maybe it was because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, or he disappeared, or something. In any case, he wasn't beside Satoko now. At the time, Satoko needed him to protect her most. He wasn't there. Why isn't he here? Satoko needs him now more than ever. A lot of people talk about Oyashiro-sama's curse, but the only thing I can say is that he ran away. One of my friends said that he just never came back. He ran away without even leaving so much as a note for his sister. Satoshi-kun had been doing part-time jobs a lot. At the time, Satoko-chan really wanted this huge stuffed animal. It ended up costing a lot, so he was doing all sorts of part-time jobs in order to afford it. He felt so strongly about it. Everyone was whispering about how he at least wanted to get his sister a nice birthday present, since she was being made to live such a pitiful life with her uncle and his wife. In the end, he didn't use his savings for a birthday present for Satoko. Satoshi-kun disappeared, and the police looked long and hard. They found out that Satoko-kun had withdrawn all his savings himself on the day he left. After checking all over, they began to think that he made use of his savings to go to Tokyo. Tokyo? For what? Again, all I can say is that he ran away. He saved all that money so he could run away? He was that selfish? But how could he just leave Satoko behind? If he was going to run away, he should have brought Satoko with him. Even now, Coach was still calm. He wasn't trying to pour any oil on the fire of my anger at all. He just waited until my anger naturally subsided. After listening to gravel being crushed under the wheels for a little while, Coach spoke abruptly. Please understand, Satoko-chan, left behind, arrived at the same conclusion. I'm a burden on my brother, and that's why he abandoned me. He didn't take her with him when he left. Cocoa Puffs? The what? How terrible must Satoko have felt, being betrayed by the brother she loved so much. Randomness. All good, all good. But Satoko-chan was a very strong person. Of course, she had the support of close friends too. But that was how she gained her smile. I recalled how Satoko had spoken of Satoshi so brightly when I was eating dinner with her and Ridika-chan for a few days ago. Very, very strong person. Yeah. At the time, I didn't think any more of it than how pleasant their sibling love had been. But now that I did think about it, I realized it was like she was peering into the distance, from atop a pile of tragic perseverance. She said Satoko-kun will come back for sure, and that when he did, he wanted him to see how she was no longer a burden. Satoko isn't a burden. She's way better at day-to-day living than me, and she can pretty much do anything. I mean, she might fall behind Rina or Rika-chan in certain aspects, but she's way more of an adult than most people. That's the result of her having to work so hard, since she didn't know when Satoshi would come back home. Her efforts are so painful. While Satoko lived with Rika-chan, Rika-chan taught her how to handle everything flawlessly. Also that she could welcome back Satoshi at any time, so that she could show him she wasn't ashamed. So when is Satoshi going to come back? I asked Coach, but he knew he wouldn't be able to answer. In any case, Satoshi ran away. He left Satoko and ran away from Hinamizawa. Someone said that when you leave Hinamizawa and run away, oh yeah, Shiro-sama's curse gets you, right? Then, that made sense. Satoshi running away and his disappearance. That would obviously mean people thought it was the curse, right? And they could smile, as though it were his own fault, as though he got what he deserved. Hey, Shiro-sama, whoever you are. Satoshi didn't vanish because he ran away. You demoned him away with your curse, didn't you? If that's not what happened, then I couldn't forgive him. When did Satoshi run away? The night of the Wasanagashi festival last year, when their aunt was killed by that deviant. It was a few days after that, on Satoko-chan's birthday. On Satoko's birthday? Bang. I slammed my hands on the door, on the dashboard in front of me with all my might. Satoshi, of all the fucking days he could have chosen to run away. Their aunt just died a few days before, didn't she? All your days of suffering were about to end, weren't they? You were just about to start thinking about how a new life, weren't you? It's wrong to be happy about someone dying, but for Satoko and her brother, her birthday had come at a critical turning point. Their mean uncle had fled town, and the siblings would be left alone. I should have been able to be happy about that on Satoko's birthday. Satoko was probably waiting for her brother to return the whole time. Waiting for her brother to return. When he never did. Waiting with bated breaths for her brother to return. Her hopes and dreams of a new life to come growing ever larger. But no matter how long she waited, he didn't come back. He didn't even contact her. With her trembling in anticipation of a great present, just when she could have, when she would have had to face the cold, terrible truth. Satoshi, you fucking idiot. I could feel my blood rising to my head, my anger at Satoshi. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. I couldn't forgive him. Satoko still respected and adored her brother. Yet he was so heartlessly betrayed her. Such a person wouldn't come back. Now when he was most needed. Yeah, no one would protect her. Not even her real brother Satoshi. So when she started to see you as her Nini, I was happy. Huh? I pray for Satoko-chan's happiness as well. But I have a position in society and a job to do every day. I have little time that I can devote to Satoko-chan, but you're different. You go to school with her, and you're closer to her, and in Satoshi, you're closer to her and Satoshi-kun's in age. I know you think you can only do so much, but you're in a position where you can give Satoko-chan a hand much better than I can. So I want you to help her enough for the both of us. That's what I wish for. But that's... Coach, you could... Of course, with my job skills, there are plenty of things that only I can help her with, but in the same way, there are things only you can do for her. What I want to say is, we should both perform in every way we can. Was that a little too complicated? Coach added that, but I shook my head in response. When I heard him say he had job skills, it reminded me that he was an adult, in a different position from all of us. Maybe I should ask him about it. Oh, Coach, do you know a lot about laws? No, I know even less than the average person. Why? I thought back to when I argued with Mion and the others about Satoko. Our children's argument had only left us with the conclusion that we had to wait and see. But what would an adult think? What is it? The child welfare law? As an emergency measure to secure the safety of a juvenile? That they can force him or her to separate from the parents? They can do that? So then, we could rescue Satoko from her uncle right away. Satoko-chan might not want that. Unless the person being abused wants shelter, anyway. It doesn't go that far. Satoko doesn't want it? Why? Coach didn't answer me. I didn't know why he didn't. It was clear as day that Satoko's uncle was being violent and treated her like a slave. So then why... I clamped down on my frenzied emotions and waited intently for Coach to answer. But he never did. Ugh. Alright. It wasn't like he was pretending he hadn't heard me. If I had to say, it was more like he wanted to explain, but couldn't put it into the right words. Satoko-chan probably thinks of this abuse as a trial. A trial? This isn't some weird religion we're talking about. You might know this, but Satoshi-kun always looked out for Satoko-chan. She always relied on him, almost as though she was utterly dependent on him. I'd known for a while that Satoshi had always protected Satoko from their aunt and uncle. But that was his duty as an older brother, not something to worry about. I think that may have traumatized her. Maybe she figured out that depending so heavily on her brother had made him hate her. And for Satoko, the current situation was a retelling of the story of a little over a year ago. But this time, Satoshi wasn't here. So I believe that now, she thinks something like this. She wants to overcome this trial by herself, without relying on anyone else. And that if she doesn't grow strong, then Satoshi-kun will never return. Now that he mentioned it, Satoko had never said a word about how hard it had been before. I figured that she was being threatened not to talk about it, but... Aw, thank you. Also, welcome to the show. How you doing? I talked with everyone, and we were wondering if we should report it to the Child Consultation Center. I have heard that a social worker was visiting Satoko-chan last year. Yeah. In the end, they decided to wait and see, and we thought maybe that made her get tormented even more. That was... apparently Satoko-chan reported it herself. And as a result, the abuse worsened, but was just kept out of sight. She was under even more torment, and the burden of Satoshi-kun for protecting her rose considerably. Huh. Could Satoko... She wouldn't be thinking it's her own fault for reporting it, would she? He nodded quietly. Satoko-chan would probably either hate it if you suggested reporting the abuse, or feign courage and say you didn't need to. And even if you reported it in secret, she's probably insistent to the social worker that she wasn't being abused. Satoko always acts tough and doesn't readily admit defeat, so I could imagine that easily. And there are strict limitations on this emergency measure. The Child Consultation Center would need permission both from the court and from the concerned party. If the abuse was known to the public, we could forcibly shelter her even if she denied it. For Satoko-chan, that would probably mean losing. This isn't about winning or losing. It's real life. Satoko, she's... Back on topic. After they placed her under their protection, she would be sent to a child care institution or the like. And she would basically be living there, so it would mean moving away. And with a change in residence, would come a change in schools too. That changing schools, it has to be done. If that's what it will take for her to be safe. Satoko-chan understands all those things. All the more reason for her to not want it. Why? Because Satoko-chan's reason for living is to wait at that house for Satoshi-kun to return. She was a husk, an empty shell after being abandoned by her brother. How did she find a reason to live? Try looking at it from Satoko-chan's point of view, rather than your own. I felt like I was trying to confuse me with that hard-to-understand, roundabout way of talking, so unique to adults. The point was that I couldn't do anything about Satoko wanting to stay in that house, and that I should watch until she gives in. In the end, no matter what I said, Coach himself was saying to wait and see. I don't understand. What? If I feel that Satoko is really in danger, I will report it without asking anyone's opinion. She might not be happy with the result, and she may come to hate me for it, but I believe that it will ultimately bring Satoko's happiness. He turns to me and gazed fixedly into my eyes. It was written all over his face. He was shocked. And what such a young kid had said. Why? Why would you go that far? Coach, no, rather normal adults, might not have understood. So I taught him the creed and the values that I believed in. Satoko is my friend, and I am Satoko's Nini. Is that enough of a reason? I stared at him with a will strong and unbreakable as steel, as his eyes betrayed a tiny bit of unrest. No. Of course that's enough. We were silent for a little while, until finally, Coach said only that. Didn't we make a promise? I'm sorry, what? That we weren't going to ever let Satoko cry. We made a vow on the day of the barbecue party. I didn't think about it hard at all. But Coach and I still made a promise that we wouldn't ever let Satoko cry. Coach gave a dry grin of regret, immediately apologizing for not remembering. One way or another, when he grinned like that, it made me think that his enthusiasm for saving Satoko was a tiny bit smaller than mine. He lightly hit the brakes, making a skidding noise, and leaned forward. Could that be your house there? Oh, right, Maibata-san would live at the Maibata residence, wouldn't he? Before I knew it, we were almost to my house. Case study 1. Alrighty. Oh, wait, hold on. Just do the new tips. December 1st, 1981. Prefectural Juvenile Welfare Division report. Do not view, do not duplicate. Case study 1, November 20th. Satoko Hojo, blank years old. Residence, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibona. Oh, I can actually click. Consultation circumstances. Anonymous telephone SOS of child abuse. Abuse situation. Anonymous claims that a female child is suffering physical abuse by adoptive parents, her guardians. Family structure. The dot marks abusers. Adoptive father, adoptive mother, and then older brother, child in question. Note. In June 1980, the child's parents died in an accident, and she was given to her uncle on her father's side, her father's younger brother. Child Consultation Center's response. On the day of the anonymous telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. The next day, the welfare officer on duty visited the child's home and heard what they had to say. Both adoptive parents agreed to the center's coaching, contracted anti-abuse networks in the city. As part of this suggested coaching, a district welfare office in the area began visiting for coaching at fixed intervals. The scrawled note below is stapled to the report. Related information from former officer Mr. W. Refer to 1977 documents D2-3, number 44. Ask Chief Investigator F from the city's education consultation offices. He is well informed about it. Alrighty. Okay, this is probably about most I can handle for today of Higurashi and the stuff going on with Satoko. God, it's going to take me so much longer to get through this game because of all this stuff, so... Yeah. Okay. Damn, not even an hour. Okay. Well,